Hey everyone, this is going to be excuse me a moment, this is going to be a different video. First, I want to apologize if my makeup's a little ishy. It's been a long day, and I tried reapplying, but all I'm getting is like smeary, and I don't want to damage it any further. It really looked good earlier, but changing the subject, I wanted to do a life update video because it's been a while, and a lot of changes. As you can see, I came out as Goth quite recently, and I just wanted to update you and my subscribers and fans on what's been going on. So without further ado, let's begin the video. So first things first, right before the pandemic, I had a ex-friend who was a little controlling. If I didn't call them literally every day, they would call me and be like, "You didn't call me, what's going on? I'm getting worried," yada yada yada. Very nosy, had to know what I was doing 24/7, had to know who I was with, etc. And if it was somebody that they didn't like or didn't get along with, they would literally chew me out in their own way, saying, you know, you shouldn't hang out with them, yada yada. And it got a little too much. I trusted them with some information. They used that, which almost destroyed a friendship with another person, and I called them out on it. In fact, I cut them off for a while, and unfortunately, I want to say a day before Thanksgiving, which hilariously is just around the corner, this year's Thanksgiving, I should say. Anyway, back to the subject. So I called them a day or two after Thanksgiving, and they say, "Oh, I'm so glad you called. I called Adult Human Services on you. They're going to talk to you. You need to let them know that you're being abused, this, that, everything." And I'm like, what the F? What the F? So the phone call ends, and come Monday, all hell went loose. Also, I forgot to mention, he also called front desk at my apartment building, filled them in on his bullshit, pardon my French. He then somehow got a hold of my life coach, told them the same BS. So I went to them, literally, I've never felt so embarrassed, and some of the stuff that he was saying was stuff from my past, back when I was living in Arkansas, which is another story I will explain later on. But he took that, he made it sound more recent, and about several of my friends that he was trying to make out as nasties, for lack of a better word. So, long story short, he was about to move. We wouldn't have known where he was because he had planned to live in his car during this whole pandemic that was slowly starting. So, right before the quarantine era began, we decided to get a restraining order because enough was enough. Got the restraining order. They never showed up at court. It got approved quite fast. And then there was a peace period. Then when things started to calm down, we could go to restaurants with masks, etc. Some restrictions still. They decided to try to appeal a motion. That failed. They were literally laughed out of the Zoom court. And then they continued other stuff for a good while, from I want to say 2021 all the way up to now. We just had our latest court thing. Something was glitchy. There was an error But long story short, I did hear that things might be in our favor if they grow this. I have a motion that I'm going to be doing myself pretty soon. I have to speak with my my new advocate about it. But hopefully it can be done. And it will end this for good. It will end this for good. It will fix it in a way to where they can't continue doing this, and I can just live my life. I can live my life peacefully without being constantly worried that whatever ping that I get or notification is something else from the Supreme Court, DIV, whatever they call it these days, these PDFL files about court cases, yada yada, his motions, trying to do this, trying to do that. It's been crazy, and it's time that it ends, and hopefully it will end as soon as possible. So the Goth question. I have been attracted to it since I was about 12 years old. I didn't know what it was called at the time. I just saw these magazines, these old vintage magazines from the 80s, posters of these people dressed in their elaborate clothes. I loved the makeup, I loved the hair. I just didn't know what it was, and I wanted to dress like that. I remember saying I wanted to dress like that, and my mother laughed. She didn't know I was serious, but I wanted to do it. And then there was a time where I tried to. In fact, I remember taking some Vaseline and trying to do my hair up into a little mohawk. And my mother freaked out when I came into the room. I said, "Hey Mom, this is what I want to do my hair up in for my first day of middle school." And, it was middle school. Second year, I think. My second year of middle school. And let's just say it was an hour to an hour and a half to get that shit out of my hair, and I thought I was going to drown under the faucet because my mother was determined to not only get that stuff out of my hair, she was literally scolding me for doing it. But over the years, we ended up in Arkansas, and there was a small group of a Goth community there, about maybe 4 or 5 students from what I can remember would wear black. Some of them elaborate makeup. None of the guys could wear it, but they would wear these really cool pants that were flowy out. Sometimes I think they were skirts. They were really cool. Some of them wore like these cool gloves, these gauntlets. And when we got our new principal, unfortunately, she really put a strict rule on certain piercings and stuff. So a lot of these communities, well, not a lot of them, it was very short. So the small community that I saw, they couldn't wear their piercings, but they were able to wear their black clothes, and they somehow fixed it in a way to where they could get away with some of these really tight, restricted rules. And they were pretty strict. Literally, I mean, I could tell you stories. So years later, I come back to Washington State after living years in hell called Arkansas. And I've been trying to figure out who I am. I love doing drag. I've discovered that I love doing drag, but I still haven't figured out what the out of character me was. I was still experimenting with who I was for who I am. And then I found a look. It felt close, but not exact. And then when the pandemic happened, I had a ex-friend at the time who just did not like how I dressed, and eventually I ended up wearing baggy clothes. I just literally let myself go, and he still wasn't happy about it. He was satisfied that I wasn't elaborately dressing, but he just wasn't satisfied. He literally, in his own words, basically, I was a slob. and I didn't like that feeling. I didn't even like looking at myself every day because this was not me. And so I met a couple of healthier friends who were part of it. And I just started to realize, would I be Goth? I mean, I enjoy the music, fashion. I mean, I love the environment. And so I decided, you know what? Let's just see. So I decided to come out as Goth, and it hasn't been that long. Almost maybe half a month, if you count what was left last month and this month. It's basically been a good few days, a good few weeks, and I've been enjoying it. I feel like I finally found out who I am, and here I am, a Goth, and I love it. So I've been struggling with my voice for years. I mean, ever since I was a kid. People made fun of my voice, hated my voice. It got worse after a facial injury. I don't like bringing this to people's attention, but I did have a facial injury, and my mother felt like it wasn't an important issue. My mother had some problems around that time. And unless I was bleeding to death, it wasn't an issue. Who knows? If I was bleeding, who knows? I could have been bleeding to death, and she may have not found it an important issue at all, considering what she was doing. And I'm not going to go into details because that's a whole other life story. But since I was a kid, all the way up to middle school, my voice has been very feminine, very squeaky, and then it just got worse when we ended up in Arkansas from age 14 to my early 20s, I think. I had to force myself to adapt to the accent, and it just made it worse. And right now I have toned my voice. This morning I did a video which is about this lovely thing here, this lovely little death hawk that's in green. I recommend it. I was just waking up when I was doing the voiceover, and I just let my natural voice slip out, my Frankenstein voice, as I'll call it, because it's beachy and it has the accent, and I hate it. And right now, I really like how I've toned my voice right now. It doesn't sound like it did this morning. At least to me, it doesn't sound like it did this morning. Hold on. This is basically what it sounds like this morning. And I just hate it. I don't know. I just hate it. I just absolutely hate it. So that's big. So I've just kind of deepened it. I'm trying to remember some steps from a speech therapist that I was seeing during my junior and senior year of high school, who was trying to help me deepen it because I was getting so sick and tired of picking up the phone, and it's like an advertisement, and they keep addressing me as a woman, or when I have to call somebody like for a doctor's appointment or something, it's a person addressing me as a woman, and I hated that. Doesn't matter to me when I'm in drag, but I hated it. It's like I kept telling them, I'm a dude, and they continued to be like, yes ma'am, we understand ma'am, anything else we can do for you ma'am? And then they would think that Alan, which is my name, out of character, I meant Ellen or Ellen, and I hated that. So one day, I was so fed up, and you're gonna love this story. So it was a salesperson for some sort of cruise, and they kept addressing me as a woman. So finally, I gave them what they wanted, and I decided, you know what? They've shown me disrespect. I'm going to make them lose their job. So they asked for my name, and I said, Jane Austen. Never had a clue. And then they asked me if I had a significant other. I said yes, Aizenjiro Puyi. Now, for those of you who don't know who those two people are, Aizenjiro Puyi is the last emperor of China. Jane Austen is a novelist. One of her famous novels is Pride and Prejudice, which has had many adaptations, including a zombie version. So anyway, this person asked me what I do for a living, and I say, oh, I'm a novel. I was very honest. I was literally role-playing as Jane Austen over this phone. This person was so stupid, and I'm going to be brutally honest here. 1 week after that, we get a letter. My grandmother thinks it's the wrong address. I saw the letter to Miss Jane Austen. And I was in Europe for you. I don't think they called us after that. I don't remember another salesman call after that. So now I'm just working on changing my voice, and that's what we're working on, and I'm going to try to stick with it. I may slip in future videos, but I kind of slipped there just now, but we're working on it. We're working on it. So presently I've been working on more projects, basically more about me and me evolving. Nothing much in the costuming area as of yet, but I have been doing some sewing, mainly on my Instagram posts. Nothing here yet, but I'm going to be working on that soon. I'm probably going to be doing a Goth makeup video shortly. Nothing else has been planned just yet, but there'll be some good stuff coming. So I want to thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit that bell. I do life updates every now and then. This is the first one in a while. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.